And this is a show me in your own words. So let's use this table. Say this is the inside of the crib, this is the rail of the crib. Now it's time to take responsibility for a 10-month-old kid that's not even hers, that is crying, won't shut the Now you're having these mental issues start taking effect. That's a lot on your plate, Adrian.
On June 5th, 2023, 911 operators in Wichita Falls got a call from a young daycare provider. A 10-month-old baby in her care had suddenly gone unresponsive. But when police started digging into what really happened inside that daycare, they uncovered a story far more sinister than anyone could have imagined.
There was so much back behind of his eyes, because his eyes were so heavily damaged, they couldn't even see the nerve that controls the eyes.
At 4 p.m. on Monday, June 5th, 2023, first responders rushed to a home daycare in Wichita Falls, Texas. The 911 call came from 22-year-old Adrian Vetter, who said a 10-month-old baby in her care, Sean S.J. Mitchell, had suddenly gone unresponsive. S.J. wasn't just another child in her daycare. He was the son of Adrian's close friend, Felicity, or Philly. But the moment paramedics saw his condition, investigators knew this was no ordinary medical call. Within hours, Adrian was in an interrogation room as the sole witness and prime suspect. And from the start, she tries to present herself as the worried caregiver.
Have you been told of SJ's condition or anything?
His mom told me, and I was really concerned on how, because it still doesn't make sense to me. Like, it was literally impossible for SJ to fit.
Hitting his don't want to fit or anything, just one time.
Just one time.
Okay.
But listen closely. Her language is disturbingly defensive right off the bat. She says things like, "I know what happened," and "I saw, but I didn't see."
I know what happened. I saw, but I didn't saw. Like, I was there.
That kind of phrasing is incredibly common with guilty suspects. They cling to a rehearsed version of events before they've even been accused. And there's something else worth noticing here. Adrian's constant nail biting. It's not proof of guilt on its own, but it is a textbook form of self-soothing, right as the detective starts pressing her about what really happened. Even so, the lead detective doesn't challenge her story yet. Instead, he starts with SJ's medical report.
That's one thing I was going to go over with you. I got some medical records from the
Okay.
I talked to the ER doctor. By the time I got there, he was already being taken to the airport with mom. They're flying him out. But there was some concerns because he actually had two subdural hematomas on both sides of his brain, which is brain bleeds on the left side and the right side.
Right.
And the locations of the brain bleeds are noted, and there was quite a big concern with the doctor as far as what his medical evaluation of SJ was. They're pretty soft, meaning if they fall from 2 or 3 foot, chances of them having a surgery are pretty low.
Right.
And you even said he had a soft spot on the back of his head and top of his head.
Yes,
To me, that doesn't necessarily add up with if he threw his head back and he's 10 months old. Granted, I've not seen I don't know how big he could be, a little Hulkster, I don't know, but you would know him better than I would. I wouldn't think, just common knowledge based off of what I've my training and everything, I don't know that I would expect him to have two brain bleeds, one on either side of his brain,
right,
just from him throwing his back having a tantrum. You know what I mean? Do you have any kind of anger problems or short temper, short fuse, anything?
No, sir. I'm on meds for everything.
The detective uses the word tantrum here for a reason. Adrian's earlier version of events was that SJ had been throwing a fit, so she set him down in front of the TV. Moments later, he had and backwards, striking his head on the hard vinyl floor, which is when she called 911. But what Adrian doesn't realize is that the ground beneath that story is already starting to give way. And as her answers get shorter, the detective makes a choice. He doesn't push harder. Instead, he softens his tone and eases into questions about her mental health. It's a calculated move to see if she'll shift the blame away from her and onto something else later.
Do you have any kind of anger problems or short temper, short fuse, anything?
No, sir. I'm on meds for everything.
So what are you on medication for, if you don't mind me asking?
Depression, anxiety. I have bipolar 1, PTSD, but I'm on meds, so like
Right.
I'm very
Got it pretty under control.
yes, sir. Sertraline, hydroxyzine, and Boost Bar.
And the boost bars for the
Exactly.
anxiety? Okay. You got it pretty well under control, you
Yes,
think?
sir. I
Okay.
put myself on meds to better myself for my daughter, and I'm probably the best version of Adrian you could possibly meet. If you would have talked to me 2 years ago, you wouldn't have liked her.
Okay. I understand. Everybody's different.
The detective reassures her that he understands her struggles, but in doing so, he's uncovered something crucial. Adrian insists she's the best version of herself now, yet her history tells of a past marked by mental health struggles and instability. And that raises a chilling question. What happens when someone like that is left alone with a vulnerable infant? The detective doesn't ask it out loud. Instead, he lets the medical evidence do the talking, further revealing what the doctors had to say about SJ's.
The doctor told me he was kind of concerned because the type of that SJ had was pretty common with shaken baby syndrome, which is kind of why we got called out.
Right.
And anytime a kid gets care flighted out of here to Cooks for something that seems simple but doesn't match up, that's why we get brought in, just to make sure we have all of our T's crossed, all of our I's dotted.
I completely understand.
Is there any cameras other than the baby monitor that you have in the bedroom? Is there any other cameras within the living room or anything?
Nope, I don't have any cameras on the inside.
Okay.
I have a camera by my front door,
Uh-huh.
and I have a camera by my back door, so I can see who's driving past my house at all times.
What kind of cameras do you have? Is it like a doorbell camera or
No, they're like light bulb cameras, so it looks like a light bulb, but it's really not. It's a camera.
Is it through a specific service or?
I ordered them off of Amazon. It's just this little app.
Okay, so Bluetooth to your phone,
Yes, sir.
essentially, or Wi-Fi
Yes,
rather.
sir.
After listening to SJ's condition, this is where Adrian makes the kind of Freudian slip no one in her position can afford.
Do you have any questions for me? Do you have anything to add that I may not have asked about?
I just want to know if he's okay. I know he's probably not. I'm still concerned myself on literally everything that happened, but I love SJ as my own, and
If SJ had really just fallen backwards on the floor, like she claimed, why would she suddenly admit he's probably not okay? Shouldn't she be reinforcing her earlier story, repeating that it was nothing more than a simple accident? But what she says next only buries her deeper in the hole she's already digging.
I love SJ as my own, and I'm a mom. I don't even put my hands on my own. I like swat her hand if she does something she's not supposed to, but it breaks my heart when I even get on to my own daughter.
Right.
So I don't even like seeing SJ cry. Like, it breaks my heart. I'm just like, I don't know what to do because I'm not mommy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only so much Auntie Adrian can do because mommy's not there.
She claims to love this like her own, but if that were true, why cling so tightly to a story the medical reports had already shredded? With no hard proof on the table yet, the lead detective starts probing deeper. This time, he shifts the focus to SJ's behavior that day, testing whether Adrian will try to pin his condition on the baby himself.
When Felicity dropped SJ off this morning, did he have any other, did he seem not normal? Or did he have any other odd behaviors or anything when she dropped him off to you?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, he literally, like I said, he was literally fine all day until he wasn't fine.
Okay. I believe you're being truthful and honest with me. But like I said, because I don't know his condition other than what the doctor told me at the hospital, which is what I told you, that he has 2 separate brain. Obviously, if I have to go to Cook's tomorrow to visit with Mom and figure out kind of more what's going on, His condition could change for the worse. It could change for the better. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
While Adrian keeps defensively insisting that everything was fine with baby SJ, the detective doesn't budge from the medical findings. But then things take a very interesting turn. He asks for her consent to search the house, and though she reluctantly agrees, it raises the obvious question. If this was really just an accident, why would investigators need to search her home at all?
Just to make sure that we're all on the same page, would you be willing to sign a consent to search your house? And then primarily it's just for photographs. Just so we can say, okay, she's pointing out that it happened here. Here's a photograph of the scene. She said she was in the kitchen. Here's the distance. Here's, that way we've got everything dotted and crossed, so we don't have to call you back tomorrow or interview you again. Some of it's pretty stressful, you guys having to deal with that.
Yes, I'm pretty stressed out. Obviously I don't like being accused of nothing. I know I'm not being accused of anything.
No, you're not being accused. You're trying to figure out. And whenever all the cops showed up the second time, me and my husband and my sister were all looking at each other like we thought everything was okay. The cops literally told me that how I did a good job on SJ, and they never said two words. They checked on me. They were like, "Are you okay?" Like I'm shooken up, and I'm okay. Yeah. I just don't think nobody expected him to have the injuries that he had.
Right.
Once they got the scans of his CT scans of his brain, they're like, "Oh, this is changed dramatically. Now we got to ship him out and get him critical care quick." And I don't think they expected that. So would you be willing to sign a consent for that, just to take photographs of the inside, kind of get bearings of what you're talking about? That way I have a better understanding of the positioning. And you can even meet us out there and show us exactly where he was and where you were and where your daughter was. That way we can get a better understanding and idea. And if this was a complete accident, that's what they're called, accidents. Accidents happen. But we're just trying to nail a concise timeline of what happened, and just to make sure we're not missing anything.
Yes,
if this is an accident, no harm, no foul, and hopefully he makes a full recovery.
Right.
But yeah. Well, if you'll agree to sign the consent, we'll get that done.
With her consent to search the house secured, Adrian was allowed to leave. Day one ended with her still clinging to her innocence, but the cracks were showing. Her story didn't hold, and the evidence was pointing to something far darker than an accidental fall. When Adrian was called in the very next day, gone was the softer approach. In its place was a sharper, more focused intensity. Because the question was no longer if Adrian had hurt SJ, it was how, and just how badly.
Okay, and so you laid him down where?
In my daughter's bed.
In Sawyer's crib, or just on the floor?
In Sawyer's crib.
In Sawyer's crib, okay. Is there anything in that crib?
Just a pillow and sheets.
A pillow and sheets? Okay. How was he acting when you put him in the crib? You said he was fussy?
Yeah, he was fussy. I gave him a pappy. Sorry, I call him pappies, but
pacifiers.
Yes.
Okay.
I gave him a pappy because he recently started using it, and his mom said if he ever is way too fussy, give him his pappy. If he doesn't want it, put on trolls. And I was like, okay.
Okay. Is there a TV in Sawyer's room?
No, I'm working on it, though.
Okay.
It would be nice to have a TV.
How long did he sleep on Monday? You said you put him in there about 11:30? Mm-hmm. How long did he sleep for on Monday?
It was a 3-hour nap, so...
A 3-hour nap?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he was still asleep when my husband came home from his lunch break.
Okay.
So I want to say my husband went...
How long was Mason at home for his lunch break?
30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Like 30 minutes, I did.
Okay. So SJ took a 3-hour nap. You put him in his crib at 11:30. What time did he wake up from his nap?
Around 2:33.
Around 2:30, 3 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What did when Mason came home for lunch? Was he taking a nap?
No.
What time did Mason come home for lunch?
Around 1:30, 1:40.
So you put SJ in the crib at 11:30. Mason came home at 12:30 or 1 o'clock, or did you say 1 o'clock or 1:30?
1 o'clock.
He came home at 1 o'clock, and you said SJ was not sleeping?
SJ was sleeping.
He was sleeping?
Yes.
Okay. Mason was only there for 30 minutes. Did Mason have any interactions with SJ when he came home for lunch on Monday?
No, sir.
No? Okay. So what time would you say that SJ woke up on Monday?
Around 1:32.
Around 1:32? Okay. I'm just making sure, that's all. I'm just making sure I'm not leaving any details out. 1:30. And then how did he wake up? How did you notice he woke up?
He was literally just laying in his bed and he stood up and just hanged, like was holding the crib, like he was literally fine.
Okay.
Like nothing out of the normal, no crying, no nothing. Like at one point in the day, he was sleeping on my chest, like everything was fine.
And those are the photos that you sent to Felicity, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The first red flag is Adrian's memory. She recalls the exact minute baby SJ woke up and the exact time her husband, Mason, came home. In real life, people don't clock every second, but guilty suspects do, because they've rehearsed their story down to the minute. And the detective can see it, because as the interrogation continues, he's about to crack open her airtight details. And this is where the first major inconsistency in her story is introduced.
How far would you estimate that you were from him?
Here's my island, and then right over there in this little corner, he walked into my house. There's like this table with a couch here.
Yeah.
He was there, and then the island's like over here. Walked up to it, pulled open my refrigerator door, and then grabbed the milk, took the lid off, and then I don't know. It all happened too fast, and none of it made sense.
Okay. So Detective Casillas and I had gone down to Cook, spoke to Felicity, or Philly, as you refer to her. We talked to a couple of doctors. Obviously, we're still, just like I'm sure you are, waiting to hear about it, little SJ,
Right.
trying to find out his condition. I just want you to know that I'm about as laid back and as understanding as probably anybody in this entire building. Okay? I know that everybody makes mistakes. I know that nobody's perfect. Parents especially make mistakes. We're all parents. We all have I just want to give you the understanding that I'm here for you. Okay? All I'm asking is that you're 100% truthful with me. And if there was something that maybe got out of hand, if there was an accident, if something happened in a different way than what we were originally told, I just want you to be truthful with me. I know this was a event for you, for Felicity, for the firefighters that were on scene working on them, for the paramedics, for some of the people at the ER, for some of the nurses at Cook's. It's an event. Nobody wants to see a month-old in that kind of shape, okay? I just want you to be able to get anything and everything off your chest if you need to, and help me understand exactly what happened. Because I'll be the first to tell you, your story, I've been told by 2 medical doctors, does not explain his.
But that's literally what happened, sir. I'm sorry they don't believe me, but I right hand on the Bible, I would never lie.
Okay.
Like, I swear on my daughter, if y'all want me to trade my daughter to y'all, then that's what I would do.
Well, I would hope no parent would do that, honestly. But we've gotten several inconsistencies from our investigation. Like I said, you're walking out of here regardless what you tell me, okay? You're not in handcuffs. You're not being arrested.
Yes, sir.
But the story that you told us Monday and the same story that you just told us, Adrian, it's not adding up. He's got very, very severe to his he's in pretty bad shape.
I know. My husband
Okay.
told me, and I literally cried whenever I found out because I still don't understand. He was literally fine. I literally had 2 bucks in his head, and I don't know, rolled back.
Okay. So you brought the blocks up. I'm glad you did. I talked to the firefighters that were first on scene. I talked to all 4 of them yesterday. They told me there were no blocks in the living room floor.
Yes, there was.
I wasn't there.
Right, I remember.
You were.
Right.
The firefighters told me they didn't see any blocks. Granted, they were focused on the child. I understand that. Things were moving at warp speed at that time because everybody's trying to get there and get the help and get them assessed, right? They said there were no blocks in the living room floor. They said your house was very clean compared to a lot of the other trailers in that area that they've been to.
I like to keep my house clean for one, but I always have baby toys and blocks all over my floor.
Okay.
Like if you move my dog bags and look underneath the couch, there's some toys down there. If you look out of the couch, you'll see some toys there. There was toys in my living room.
Okay. So I understand from when the paramedics, the firefighters, and the couple of police officers that were there when they all left, I'm assuming you guys cleaned up, right?
Oh, Mason did whenever he got home from work.
Okay. So when because obviously by the time we went back over there and took photos of your house, there were no blocks in the living room floor. They were all in Sawyer's room. Do you know how he collected all those blocks out of the floor and put them in Sawyer's room?
Well, it wasn't that much either. It was probably like 4 blocks, but whenever I go in there, I scoop some up and just lay them
on the floor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, you just told me there were like 35 blocks on the floor whenever.
No, I just said blocks were on the floor.
Right. We're not arguing that there were blocks on the floor.
Right.
You told me there were only like 4 blocks on the floor that you guys had to pick up and go put in Sawyer's room.
We had to pick them up to go put them back in Sawyer's room, but there were blocks everywhere.
Okay. So why would 4 firefighters that don't know you from Adam, they don't know me from Adam, why would they say they didn't see any blocks or any toys in the living room floor?
This is a critical moment. Adrian's entire story hinges on the idea that SJ onto a floor scattered with more than 30 blocks while playing with her daughter, Sawyer. But first responders flat out contradict her, saying they saw none. And as the noose begins to tighten around this story, Adrian's behavior takes a very bizarre turn.
I don't know, Detective. I loved SJ with my whole entire heart.
Okay.
I would never hurt him. I can't even hurt my little I can't.
Right.
They were both saving grace in my life that I don't deserve. I didn't my daughter at all, or my son, or not son. Oh, God.
Notice the slip here. Adrian accidentally calls SJ her son. Was it her conscience breaking through for just a second? A flash of guilt over what she did to the baby in her care? Why else would she start fumbling over her words? But even with that crack showing, the detective still isn't getting what he needs. So he pivots and leans into a more personal angle. And it's here that Adrian's true mental state finally begins to surface.
She brought up that you had a miscarriage recently. You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. I'm just trying to. I'm sorry to hear that. Nobody wants to have to experience that. How long ago did you have a miscarriage?
We're in June now.
Yeah, first week of June.
Almost 3 months.
3 months ago. So about, was it March?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Almost 15 minutes into the interrogation, the detectives press her on a crucial detail: how exactly she tried to resuscitate baby SJ.
Did you call 911 first, or did you call Philly first?
I called Philly first and I said, hey, I need you to hurry and get to my house now. And I didn't have enough time to keep talking, so I hung up on her and I called 911. And the 911 people, they got to my house before Felicity did.
Okay. What was the conversation with Felicity on the phone? You said you told her to hurry up and get to your house. What were you telling her?
I was telling her to hurry up and get to the house because it was about SJ.
Okay. What'd you tell her about SJ?
I said, I don't know, bro. He's not breathing. His lips are turning purple. And then she drops everything and barks, just runs to her car.
Okay. And you said you did CPR and you talked Monday about the 2 fingers. If I go grab a doll real quick, can you show me how you held him and how you did it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me grab a doll right quick. That way I'll get us a better understanding.
When the detective returns, he brings a training doll. At first glance, it looks like just a prop, but in reality, it's a weapon, a psychological one. It forces Adrian to relive the act of handling an giving her something she can project her actions onto without saying the words out loud. But what Adrian doesn't realize is this: the doll isn't there to help her explain. It's there to expose her.
So this is a doll that we use. It's actually pretty life-size. I mean, it's not the standard size for a... Okay, so I'll hand this to you. If you can show me how he was sitting on the floor, if you want to use this desk right here, because it'll probably be better here. Use this desk. Show me how he was sitting on the floor in the living room, and then how he fell back. So you're sitting up.
Yeah, he was sitting up just like this, and then all of a sudden he just fell backwards.
Okay.
And then I ran to him, stopped with everything I was doing, and then ran to him, started doing CPR, and I just...
Was he flat on the ground? Were you holding him? Anything? Flat on the ground just like this?
Yes.
Okay. So how are you... Where was your body compared to his? Were you at the feet? Were you next to him?
I was hovering over him.
Okay. And what were you doing as far as CPR? Were you doing mouth? Were you doing the mouth?
No, I don't have one of those things that cover up the mouth. I only know how to do CPR.
Okay. And demonstrate how you were doing CPR. 2 fingers in the center of the chest?
Yes.
How long did you do that for?
I sing the song Staying Alive until I'm done singing it.
Which is what they train you in CPR classes. Okay.
So it's about like two 30 minutes long, or maybe 3 minutes long.
Okay. Anything else that you can remember being on the floor with SJ?
No, sir. I mean, yeah, I really don't. Like, he was just... I turned him on his side, and I got all the saliva out of his mouth and stuff. But
did he have a lot of saliva in his mouth?
It was a lot. I even looked at his tongue and everything. He didn't bite his tongue.
Okay.
So it was just a very hard night that night.
Right. I understand. I appreciate that.
After the demonstration, the tone in the room shifts. Up until now, the lead detective has played the part of the easygoing, understanding officer. But he knows patience alone won't crack this case. It's time for something far more drastic.
Going back to what I was saying earlier about me being pretty laid back, I'm an understanding parent. She's an understanding parent. She's probably more understanding than I am. Every parent has their flaws. Every parent gets tired of their at one point. Every parent gets frustrated with their at one point. I know on Monday you told me that you think of SJ as your own, because you guys are pretty close, right? And you refer to yourself as your aunt and SJ as your nephew. Even though that's not the case, that's how close you are to him, right? So from what I understand, he was fussy on Saturday, he was fussy on Sunday. Was he pretty fussy on Monday?
A little bit, yeah. Okay. Not as bad as it was on Sunday.
Okay. So Sunday was pretty bad, fussy? Okay. So it would be understandable as a parent. Now, if I weren't a parent, I wouldn't understand. But like I said, all 3 of us in this room right now are parents. It's pretty understandable to maybe lose your temper or to get onto your kids if they won't stop crying, if they won't stop getting into something, if they are not listening. That's understandable, right? Okay. If SJ is crying and being fussy and he's fighting his naps and he's not cooperating, I can understand how a parent would be pretty frustrated, if not lose their temper a little bit. Does this sound familiar? I mean, is that something that may have happened?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna read a couple things real quick. I mean, there's nothing wrong with losing your temper on your kids and they're draining every ounce of energy out of you, you know? I mean, it's understandable. And any parent would tell you, there's times that my kid drives me up the freaking wall. She'll tell you, her kid drives her up the freaking wall. I've got a run, she drives me up the freaking wall. It's understandable. No parent is going to tell you, my kid is perfect and I love my kid and our family is perfect. Nobody will tell you that. I guarantee it. No parent will tell you that. Because that's pretty safe to say with you and Sawyer, right? I'm sure Sawyer's not a little perfect angel.
No, not really.
Okay, we're not perfect. I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying we are. But it's understandable if, coming from a parent's point of view, if something were to happen, hey, I think I lost my temper, he wouldn't quit, whatever the case is, here's what I did. If something like that happened, I need to know. Help me understand. I want to help you. If something truly happened, I just want to help. Okay? You're walking out of here. Doesn't matter what you tell me, you're walking out of here. But there's a lot that's not adding up. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm not going to beat around the bush. There's a lot that's not adding up.
Right, and I 100% agree with you. Like, it don't make sense at all. I don't know.
Realizing he's no closer to breaking Adrian's wall, the detective decides it's time to hit her with hard facts. And what he reveals about SJ's condition is the kind of suffering no child should ever endure.
Again, I was just going based off of what you had told me on Monday when we were down at Cook on Tuesday, talking to a doctor. We spoke to a doctor. Her name is Dr. Peeler. She's the pediatrician that specializes in care, that kind of thing. We told her exactly what was said that had happened, that he had back when unresponsive, because that's what he told us. They gave me a report Tuesday, and then they gave me a follow-up report yesterday. Says that the impression, which is the what they've discovered on SJ, was head trauma and suspected physical. He's got bilateral subhemorrhaging, which is brain on both sides of his head, more so on the left. He's got intracranial and he became unresponsive at the babysitter's home. At this time, this finding is most consistent with they fell backward from a seated position would not explain this significant brain injury. In absence of medical condition or explanation, findings are very worrisome for and physical. So, again, they said that they couldn't rule out at the time medical conditions. So I brought that up. Talked to her. Hey, could this have possibly been a brain aneurysm? Could this have been a grand mal? She was like, we don't know. We can't rule that out, but it's very, very unlikely that that is the cause. Then I get a bunch of we get photos. I'll actually put the photos right here. So this is him in the bed. There's a bruising right here on the right side. These are all the sensors that are placed on his to prevent from him having major. Okay. These are little pinpoint impressions on his right arm, his upper right arm. This is the bruising about the middle to lower of his back. To me, it looked like linear bruising, like a little. And she even has a little measuring. This little up top is about 3 inches. This bottom one is about 6 inches. Okay. She then sent me a follow-up report yesterday because I was worried about little SJ, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened to him and if he's going to live or die. And she's very concerned as well. She then sent me some more investigation or some more follow-up paperwork. His is pretty. He's got a high. His C3, 4, 5, and 6 are pretty. The ophthalmology report. Ophthalmology has to do with your eyes, your orbits. They were able to complete an MRI of his eyes. They said there were so many intra, pre, and subretinal. There were too many to count. They could not see his optic nerves on the MRIs due to so many retinal. You know what that means? There was so much back behind of his eyes because his eyes were so heavily. They couldn't even see the optic nerve, the nerve that controls the eyes. That's pretty remarkable. That's pretty concerning. That's very concerning. That's damn concerning. There's so much pressure on him that his eyes are. He can't even move his eyes. I mean, they're forced straight down, basically into his nasal cavity. He's got a high. I called. Like I said, I talked to Dr. Peeler. Basically, there's no way in hell, and they've proven it. And she's a medical professional. She's a doctor that this is her expertise. There's no way on God's green earth these injuries that SJ has been given is from him having a little minor falling backwards and hitting his head on that little wooden linoleum floor.
First, just let all that you've heard sink in. Another red flag that sets off alarms in the room is Adrian's posture. She's shrunk back now, arms and legs tightly crossed. It's a textbook sign of someone retreating into themselves, trying to protect themselves when the mind feels overwhelmed. Still, the detective offers her an out, framing it as something anyone could fall victim to. And that is the trap Adrian doesn't realize she's walking into.
Is it possible, again, I'm not judging you. Everybody has problems, okay? Is it possible that him and Sawyer were giving you such a hard time Monday, whether he was crying, whether he was throwing blocks, whether Sawyer was crying, throwing blocks, you were having one of these parental moments, and you possibly lost your shit or got a little over-tempered?
No, sir.
I need you to be 100% completely honest with me.
I am being 100% honest with you. I would never, ever, ever hurt SJ.
Okay.
And whenever I was getting updates on him, like, my heart broke.
I want you to understand this, okay? I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to talk down on you. I need you to understand the stories that you have given us are complete.
But they're not
I'm telling you, the medical records, the stories that we have been told by you, by Mason, are complete. I want you to do the right thing for SJ. Help me understand what exactly happened in your house. Because if I keep getting lied to, I can't say what the future is going to hold. It's already out all over social media. They only know what they're being told by the media. Okay? Help me understand for you and give a voice for you, and especially give a voice for SJ. I don't want you to lie and then something bad happen in the future, and everybody out in the city of Wichita Falls and whoever can see Facebook or social media wants your on a plaque on the wall because they think you killed a month-old. Help me understand what happened. Maybe I can help explain it. This is a mom taking care of two young kids. She's got mental health issues. She's doing her damn best to stay afloat. She's doing her damn best to take care of her own daughter. She's trying to get inflow of income. She's got a husband. He's busting his ass every day, 8 to 5. She's doing the best that she possibly can do for what the life she has been given and what she's going through herself. You understand what I'm saying? I want just to know the simple truth so I can be a voice for you.
And finally, after nearly an hour of denials stacked against medical evidence, Adrian breaks. What she admits next is nothing short of horrific.
Maybe I did get a little over upset on Monday, but that's...
Okay, you said maybe you did get a little upset on Monday.
Maybe I did get a little upset, and I was already butt freaking tired because Sawyer just wasn't listening. And...
Okay, it's understandable. It's not wrong to get upset at.
I know it's wrong for what I did. So...
It's a tiny admission, but it's the breach the detectives have been waiting for. From here, the truth comes spilling out.
Help me understand what happened. Walk me through. You said maybe you got a little upset. Walk me through what happened.
Whenever I was laying him down, I laid him down, gave him his passy, and it would be a constant game of going back in there, giving him his passy, back in there, and go back and giving him his passy. And then, I don't know, he woke up, they were doing fine, and I guess I might have hit his on like the crib or the wall or the ground maybe.
Okay, I don't want you to guess. Okay? I don't want you to guess. Because when you start guessing, you're not telling the truth. I don't want to paint you as a liar. I want to paint you as a damn good mother that is doing the best that she can with what she's got. Okay? I just want you to tell me exactly what happened. Help me understand what you were going through whenever SJ is having a fit. Whatever happened in the bedroom, whatever happened in the living room, I want you to be completely honest with me.
She admits she was upset and that SJ was fussy, offering it as context for what happened. But the detective presses her further, because to build a case, they need a clear picture of what really happened inside that house. And backed into a corner with nowhere left to run, Adrian has a full meltdown.
At the beginning of that day, me and my husband were supposed to have a wedding, but then he wanted to cancel it, so that's that.
Why did he want to cancel it?
Because we don't have the money right now.
Okay.
I hit his head on the crib and I hit his head on the wall.
Now that they have her verbal admission, the next step is figuring out how she did it. The detective places the same training doll back in her hands, but this time, it isn't about demonstrating CPR. It's about recreating what really happened to SJ. And what unfolds next is beyond twisted.
Pretend this is SJ. Show me in your own words what happened.
Something like that. I can't. It's all very so small.
I mean, SJ's probably, 30-something pounds? He's pretty big little kid, right?
He is. He's really heavy.
Okay. So it's understandable. Listen to me. Look at me. It's understandable. You probably lost you're dealing with two kids. You've got enough on your plate as a single, or as a mother. You're not single. You have enough on your plate. You've already got drama with Mason. That kind of ups the ante a little bit. You're frustrated because you're trying to marry the guy that you love. Right? Now you've got a 1.5-year-old daughter. Now you've got a screaming 3-month-old kid that won't shut the hell up. He's driving you up the wall. Nobody is going to blame you. Okay? People lose their head.
I don't miss my I'm just trying to just do with it.
It's stressful. Having kids is stressful. I will be the first to tell you. Having more than one is very stressful. Especially when it's just you by yourself. And you're young. You're what, 20? 22? That's a lot of stress on a 22-year-old woman that already has a full daughter. Now is having to take responsibility for a 10-year-old that's not even hers, that is crying, won't shut the hell up. Now you're having these mental issues start taking an effect. That's a lot on your plate, Adrian. So how many times did you say you hit his on the wall?
Just once, and on the crib just once. And then whenever he fell backwards, throwing a fit in the living room, and that's when everything went wrong.
Okay, so let's use this table. Say this is the inside of the crib, this is the rail of the crib. Was it harder?
It was hard. Not really, no.
Okay. Because the doctors that we spoke to, they said this is very indicative of chicken syndrome.
Yes.
Do you want me to tell you what my theory is? And will you tell me if I'm right or wrong? Okay, let me see the doll. Okay, you take the doll out of the crib. He's crying, right? Because he doesn't want to take a nap. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why won't you shut up? Why won't you shut up? You're frustrated.
I would never shake SJ though. I was frustrated 100,000%. Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying you did. That's just my theory.
Right.
Because I understand you had a lot on your plate.
Right, I understand, but I would never ever shake SJ like that. Maybe I might bump his head on the wall or something like that, or kind of get over a little stimulated and stuff.
Okay. So I know he's a little heavy, but I know you're frustrated, and I appreciate you for being honest with me. I really do. That will go a long way. You're still walking out of here, okay? Because we still have a lot of follow-ups to do.
Well, I just wanted to spend more time with my husband.
All you want to do is what?
Just spend time with my husband as much as I can.
Okay.
Because I don't have my daughter anymore.
There's something uniquely chilling about watching a doll used to reenact violence against an infant. It takes the unthinkable and makes it horrifyingly real. But even now, Adrienne minimizes her actions. She insists it was only once and not that hard. At this point, she's just clinging to the barest version of events. The detective, however, needs to know one thing. Does her reenactment match the devastating doctors found on SJ?
Back to SJ. How many times, honestly, take a minute, think back to when he was giving you a hard time in the bedroom. How many times that his head hit the crib, and how many times did his head hit the wall?
He never hits his head on the wall.
No, but you.
Yeah, I did that, but whenever he's sleeping and he starts rolling, he'll hit his head on the back of the wall. But I only hit his head on the crib once.
You only hit his head on the crib once?
Yes.
Okay. What about the wall?
Not in the same room. It would be in the living room area because that's where my daughter was.
Okay.
But can you refresh my replay the question?
Well, let me kind of stop. Have you taken anything other than your meds today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many times and where did you hit SJ's head on the wall? Let me kind of stop you. You said that you hit SJ's head on the crib in Sawyer's room.
Yeah.
On Sawyer's crib. Now, where did the contact in the wall take place?
We went to the living room because Sawyer wanted to watch a movie, and I knew SJ would watch a movie too, so I put on Trolls for them, and that's really it.
Okay. Where you didn't bring up the incident about him hitting the wall?
I mean, there was a little hallway outside of Sawyer's bedroom, so I want to say this one.
Okay. Now hold the doll like that's SJ and show me how you. I know you kind of showed me here, but how are you holding him and how did he hit his? Okay. How many times did that happen?
Only once.
Okay. Were you screaming at him? Was he screaming?
He was screaming.
He was screaming? You weren't screaming at him or anything?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these were not caused from shaken syndrome like everybody else is telling us.
Mm-hmm.
These, and you're telling us these injuries are caused by you hitting his head on the crib and you hitting his head on the wall.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there anything else you're leaving out? Because I don't want to paint you as a liar.
Mm-hmm.
I want to paint you as being fully cooperative, 100% truthful. That way I can kind of help explain things for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Okay, so you're saying one time on the crib, one time on the wall.
Yes, sir.
And let me see the doll. And so basically you said you were holding him like this, and then you like threw his head into the wall?
Well, that's kind of a baby doll, so it's sling back like
Right, but you said you basically
yes.
like that?
Yes, sir.
Or did you like pile drive him? Did you?
No, I had him like that.
Okay, so at the time, was he screaming?
Yes and no. He was like trying to breathe for air and stuff.
He was trying to breathe for air, and that's when you thumped him threw him against the wall?
Yes, but that was before I even called my mom.
Okay, and that happened in the hallway outside of Sawyer's bedroom? Okay, so now that I've got an understanding, because I figured there was something that happened, were there any blocks on the living room floor?
It was.
Okay.
Because Sawyer was playing in there, and then after everything happened, I called my husband. Then he came home, and he just started picking things up.
Okay, did you tell him exactly what had happened?
I did.
You told him about thumping his against the wall?
No, I haven't told him.
When Adrienne is asked for one last demonstration of what she did to SJ, the horrifying scale of her crime finally hits everyone in the room.
Okay. real quick, kind of what I was thinking. Okay, you're sitting down now. Can you stand up? And here, let's move. All right. We'll just say this table is the crib. Okay. So this is the whole inside of the crib. The outside of the table are edges. Can you show me while you're standing up, holding him? And assuming that he's crying right now and being loud.
Just something like that.
Okay. Just once, right?
Yeah.
On the back of the...
Yes.
Okay.
And
And then if you're walking into the hallway, you can use the wall.
then just
Okay. What part of his struck the wall that you remember?
either his left side or the right side.
So if you come out of Sawyer's room, if you're in Sawyer's room, like this doorway right here you're in Sawyer's room. When you go out of the doorway, what direction do you have to turn to go back towards the living room?
The hallway, the long hallway.
You have to turn right?
Mhm.
So if you come out of Sawyer's room and you hang a right, you're going towards the living room. What side of the wall was his making contact with? On the right side or the left side? If the living room's over here,
His right side.
so the right side of his hit the right side of the wall,
Yes.
which now that kind of explains the bruising that they saw at Cook's on the right side of his.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to add?
Yes, sir.
You feel a little bit better now? So you don't have to live a lie?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I appreciate that. You want to have a seat?
Do you know anything about maybe the bruising piece back? Is there anything? I know he showed you the pictures.
Yeah, that's what I meant to ask.
If there was anything else
Nothing on the back.
that you can remember, because we talked about maybe.
Nothing that I can remember of somebody like really just like squeezing it like that. I mean, sometimes his mom's maybe, but I don't know. I don't know what happened at home. I'm not accusing her or anything. I don't know
So-
what's on at home.
Before you kind of lost your temper with him, there were no issues. Nothing had happened between you and him before the crib incident?
Yes.
Okay. You're saying yes.
Yes.
Do you mean yes, like something happened, or no, nothing happened?
No, they haven't.
Nothing happened. Okay. Mason wanted to talk to me for a sec and then get you guys out of here. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being honest and truthful with me. Honesty goes a long way. Okay?
Unfortunately, not too long after this interrogation, little SJ succumbed to his injuries. The puzzle finally clicks. Adrian's story now lines up, though just barely, with the medical report. She still denies ever shaking SJ, defying the doctor's clear suspicion, but the part about slamming his head multiple times alone seals it. The confession is now complete. In April 2024, Adrian faced the consequences of this horrific crime. She pleaded guilty to the murder of 10-month-old SJ and was sentenced to 50 years in the 78th District Court. However, no trial can undo what was lost, and no sentence can give back a young life taken far too soon. 5 decades in prison stand as the stark measure of a tragedy that can never be reversed. If you enjoyed our production and how we explained this case, please consider subscribing, as it helps us out a ton. I'll see you next time.